Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 17th April 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 8 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says Center promises more oxygen ventilators for UP and Chhattisgarh. So this article mainly talking about supply of oxygen ventilators. So why this oxygen ventilators is in use? So as you know that we are in second wave of this coronavirus and daily there are more than 2 lakh new cases are reporting, right? So because of this, what happened? Because of number of cases are increasing, and in this number of cases there are also number of vulnerable people, they are also infected with this coronavirus, right? So because of this we need to supply enough oxygen. So there is also reports like because of lack of oxygen, so that is leading to loss of lives, mainly who are patients infected with this coronavirus. So especially there are many cases that are recorded from states like UP and Chhattisgarh. So in these states, oxygen supply it is very keen, mainly to save number of lives. Okay, so this is some background regarding this topic, and this topic is important regarding GS paper 2 under health. So now let us try to talk about this article in a great detail. So first we are going to see what is context. Here context is our Union Health Secretary informed UP and Chhattisgarh that their demand for 45 liters and 10 liters jumbo oxygen cylinders and as well as some additional ventilators which are having high flow of nasal cannula. So if you have nose like this and there will be some pipe like this and there will be some outlets, they will be inserted into nostrils like, so that is called as nasal cannula. Okay, so additional ventilators with high flow of nasal cannula, so they will be met very soon. So this is statement which is given by our Union Health Secretary. Okay, so here UP and Chhattisgarh they demanded for jumbo oxygen cylinders of capacity of 10 liters and 45 liters, and they also demanded for some additional ventilators with nasal cannula. So this demand will be met soon. So this is statement which is given by our Union Health Secretary. And now let us talk about some details regarding this article. So if you see details, it mainly says that Union Home Secretary also written to all the states that to ensure that there is no restriction is imposed on movement of medical oxygen. Okay, so whenever there is any vehicle which is taking this oxygen cylinders and whenever it is moving between states or between states and union territories, so there should be no restriction of movement that to be imposed. Okay, so whenever restriction of movement is imposed, then what happens? There is no supply of oxygen cylinders that will be happen. So because of this we can see some shortage and that will lead to loss of lives. Okay, so in this context our Union Home Secretary mainly said that there should be no restriction that to be imposed on movement of this medical oxygen cylinders. And also Union Home Secretary asked states not to limit supply to hospitals, okay, mainly which are running into that particular state. That means if in any state they have any manufacturing unit of this oxygen, so whatever units of oxygen cylinders that they are manufactured, that need to be transported even to other states. There should be no limit in supply of those cylinders to within that state itself. Okay, and in this context our Union Home Secretary also said that there is need for free movement of vehicles which are carrying this oxygen in cities without any time limit. Okay, so this is important thing. And if you're talking about some important facts regarding this article, some states like Chhattisgarh, UP and Maharashtra, so they are recording high number of new fresh cases every day and they have more than 1 lakh active COVID-19 cases. So because of this, these states are mainly demanding for oxygen cylinder supply. So this is gist of this topic. I hope it is clear. And now let us see next article. Title says UK not for extradition of Nirav Modi in PNB case. So this PNB case, it is a not new case. So this case filed in year 2018. So if you're talking about what is this case, so this is Punjab National Bank case. So Nirav Modi, he was one of diamond merchant in India. He mainly took some loans from this Punjab National Bank, and finally that led to some fraud. Okay, so he done some fraud to got some thousands of crores from this Punjab National Bank, and finally he moved to UK mainly to avoid from this case. Okay, so this article will be important regarding economy, which comes under GS paper 3. And now let us try to see first background of this case. So in January 31st 2018, so CBI registered first case against this Nirav Modi regarding cheating of Punjab National Bank of rupees 6,498 crore rupees, and after that Enforcement Directorate launched money laundering case on him. So later on in February 2018, CBI arrested this bank officials and as well as some functionaries of his firms. And later on in May 2018, CBI filed first charge sheet on this Nirav Modi. And later on in June 2nd, 2018, Interpol issued red notice on this ED's request, that is Enforcement Directorate request on this Nirav Modi. And in August 2018, India sends request to UK for extradition. That means he mainly went to UK. Okay, so from UK he need to be given to Indian police, right? So that process is called extradition. So here in August 2018, India sends request to UK government for his extradition. And in March 19, 2019, here UK police arrested this Nirav Modi in London, and finally extradition trail that started. Okay, and recently in 2021 February, court allows extradition. Okay, and order sent for Secretary of State of UK Home Department. And now this article mainly says that, so this secretary signs this extradition order of this Nirav Modi. So this is some background regarding this topic, and now let us try to see this topic in a great detail. So this topic mainly talking about Punjab National Bank's case. So background here is CBI registered first case against this Nirav Modi. This Nirav Modi was a diamond merchant in India. Okay, so he got loan by cheating this Punjab National Bank. It is about 6,498 crore rupees. So later on, Enforcement Directorate also launched this money laundering probe against this Nirav Modi, and even Interpol also issued red notice on this Enforcement Directorate request. And later on, India sent request to UK for his extradition. And later on, UK police arrested this Nirav Modi, and extradition trail that commenced. So recently in February 2021, court allows extradition order, and this order sent to Secretary of State of UK Home Department, and now Secretary signed that order of extradition. Okay, so this is one of important development in this case. And if you see context here recently UK Home Department approved extradition of diamond merchant Nirav Modi to India. So here this Nirav Modi is connected with rupees 13,758 crore PNB, that is Punjab National Bank fraud. And now let us talk about what is this extradition. So this topic will be important regarding mains, and also you can expect some prelims based questions from this topic. So what is meaning of extradition first? So extradition means delivering on a part of one state to another state of those whom they are desired to deal with for crimes on which they have been accused or convicted and are justifiable in courts of other state. For example, if there is a person who did some fraud or crime in state 1, okay, after doing this crime he left to another state, that is state 2. Okay, so this person mainly accused or convicted or justifiable in court in first state, but now this person is present in second state. So this person need to be bring back to state 1 mainly to attend court. Okay, so this type of movement of from one state to another state person, okay, by taking permission of government of another state, this process is called as extradition. Okay, and when this extradition can be initiated? So it can be initiated in 3 stages. First one is whenever this crime that done by that person, it is under investigation, and second one is whenever he was in under trial, and next one is convicted criminals. So in these 3 cases this extradition can be initiated. And next one is on which legal basis we are going for extradition in India. In India we have one law which mainly guides about this extradition, that is Extradition Act of 1962. So this Extradition Act of 1962, it is a one of consolidated law which mainly talks about extradition of criminals and as well as fugitive offenders from India to other foreign states. Okay, and which is nodal authority. So nodal authority here is Consular, Passport and Visa Division, that is CPV Division, which mainly comes under Ministry of External Affairs. Okay, so it is a central and as well as nodal authority to deal with this extradition. Okay, so this nodal authority mainly administers this Extradition Act, and it mainly includes process of incoming and as well as outgoing extradition request. And this nodal authority also alleged offender may not be extradited in some cases. So according to this act, it mainly says that in some cases this extradition that cannot be done. That means whenever any person who left to another country, so with that country India do not have any treaty, so there will be no extradition that can be continued. And next one is no treaty crime. That means in extradition generally it is limited to some crimes itself. So if at all crimes which not comes under this Extradition Act, then there will be no extradition. And next one is military and political offences. They may be denied mainly under pure military and as well as political offences. And next one is whenever there is want of dual criminality. That means if the crime which is done in India, okay, after person he left to another country, so in another country he is taking permission or he is punished for crime, then this person cannot be extradited to India again for same punishment or same crime. And next one is whenever there is procedural consideration, whenever procedure which is not followed, which is according to Extradition Act here, so then also this extradition will be not given. Okay, so this is gist of this topic. I hope it is clear. And now let us see next topic. Title says India likely to receive normal monsoon. It is according to IMD, that is India Meteorological Department. So recently we studied about this IMD, not IMD exactly, but here monsoon forecast. Recently some private organization, that is SkyMet, came up with monsoon forecast and it said that it is above normal, it is about 103%, and we are going to have a good monsoon this year. Now recently IMD came up with this normal monsoon forecast. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 1 under geography. So I want to give you a homework. So you need to open your NCERT and you need to refer about this monsoons. Okay. So this is homework. And now let us talk about this article in a great detail. So now let us see context. Here India is likely to receive normal monsoon rainfall and expected a good monsoon rainfall. It is above normal. Okay. And here IMD also says that many parts of country, they are expected to get above normal rainfall, but there are some exceptions in eastern and as well as northeastern India. We can see some good rainfall in eastern and as well as northeastern India. So if you see some details here, so IMD mainly says that we are going to receive normal rainfall in this monsoon, and it mainly ranges from 96 to 104% of long period average, that is 88 centimeters. And if you see some facts regarding this IMD, it was established in year 1875 and it is an agency which comes under Ministry of Earth Sciences of Government of India, and it is one of principal agency in India which mainly responsible for meteorological observations and as well as weather forecasting and as well as seismology. Okay, so these are some important details that you should remember regarding this topic. And now let us see next topic. Title says girls face more pressure during pandemic according to study. So this article mainly talking about girls and the pandemic. Okay, so this article mainly given some insights regarding what is situation of girls who are facing in this pandemic. Okay, so this topic is very much important regarding GS paper 2 under society and as well as social issues. And whatever data which we are going to discuss in this article, you can save that data and you can use that data in your mains answers and as well as even in your essay regarding girls. Okay, situation of girls in this COVID-19 pandemic. So now let us see context first. Context says that recently one study, so title of that study is COVID in Her Voice, a girl-led and girl-centered participatory research study came up with final result. So this research mainly conducted by girls who are aged between 13 to 24 years, mainly from areas like Ahmedabad, Alwar, Bareilly, Delhi, Lucknow, Mumbai and as well as Pune. So if you see some highlights of this article, it mainly says that 25 girls from 7 cities, they set out interview mainly to record impact of COVID-19 on their lives. So this study mainly conducted on impact of COVID-19 on lives of girls. So if you see some highlights, it mainly says that adolescent girls who are responded, about 42% of girls, they said that there is increased pressures to get married in this COVID-19 period. And next one is girls, they spend longer hours on household work itself. So 80% of respondents, they are spending long hours in household works. And next one is 64% of respondents, they said that they lack tools to continue school education online. There is lack of access to resources and as well as technology. For example, there are no tools like mobile phones, internet access to learn online. And 26% of respondents, they said that there is increased gender-based violence during this COVID-19 period. And 90% of girls, they reported that they are experiencing some mental distress and as well as despair without any access to information. Okay, because there are many barriers in communicating with friends and as well as teachers. And what is way forward, what can be done? So first one is we need to go for well maintained safe free toilets in close to proximity to community such that we can decrease gender based violence. And next one is we need to establish girl friendly spaces in community. We need to provide some skill training center such that it will impart skills and it will also helpful for empowerment of women and it will also lead to income generation for people. And next one is we need to create some violence free spaces and we need to create some digital hubs, mainly especially in rural areas. Okay, so in those areas we need to make charging stations to be available and with even Wi-Fi access such that they can go for some education, okay, in this rural areas especially. So this is gist of this topic. And now let us see next article. Title says researchers propose method to treat blood clot after jabs. So in yesterday's or day before yesterday's lecture, we studied that after taking this AstraZeneca vaccine, there are number of adverse effects that are seen, right? So because of this, many countries, they suspended use of this AstraZeneca vaccine. So this article also saying that after taking this Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, so that is leading to blood clots in patients. Okay, so because of this blood clots in this patients after taking this vaccine, so it is having some side effects on cardiovascular system of people who are taking this COVID-19 vaccine. And this article mainly talking about what is important reasons behind that blood clot formation. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under science and technology. So now let us have a detailed discussion on this topic. So this article mainly talking about treatment of blood clots. So if you see context, it mainly says that US paused the use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine after adverse reactions in a few vaccinated persons. So after taking vaccine of this Johnson & Johnson, some people, they are facing some adverse reactions like blood clots. Okay, so out of 7 million people, 6 million who are vaccinated with this Johnson & Johnson, they develop blood clots in days following this vaccination. So this type of adverse reaction are also noted in AstraZeneca vaccine, right? So several countries, they have set age limits for use of this AstraZeneca vaccine, mainly to minimize these adverse reactions. So if you're talking about details regarding this topic, it mainly says that two separate papers are published in New England Journal of Medicine by a group of researchers from Norway and another group from Austria and Germany. So they have outlined how this adverse reaction resembles a reaction to heparin. So heparin, which is mainly a blood thinner, okay. So whenever any patient who took this heparin, then this heparin will induce a condition. So in this condition, platelet number will be decreased, and that will finally leads to formation of blood clot. So this type of blood clot formation after taking this heparin, it is called as heparin-induced thrombocytopenia. So in same case here, whenever people who are taking this COVID-19 vaccines, so those persons, they will develop antibodies against this COVID-19 antigen, right? So these antibodies, after production in our body, they can bind to platelets. So after binding to platelets, these platelets get be activated, and that is leading to formation of clots. So whenever in any blood vessel, whenever there is any clot that formed, then what happen? It will block this blood vessels. So this block of this blood vessels, that will leads to severe heart issues or cardiovascular problems. Okay. So in this way we can see sometimes there is also decrease in free platelets which are formed. Okay, that is called as thrombocytopenia. So this is about pathophysiology, how it is happening and what is way forward. Here researchers mainly said that they need to go for some specific treatment with immunoglobulins after taking this vaccine. Okay, so this is way forward. And now let us see next article. Title says Iran says it has started enriching uranium to 60%. So this article mainly talking about Iran's enrichment or uranium enrichment to 60% by Iran. So this article will be important regarding science and technology regarding uranium enrichment, and this topic will be also important regarding international relations regarding Iran's nuclear deal. Okay, you can expect prelims based questions and as well as mains based question from this topic. And now let us try to understand this topic in a great detail. First, let us see context. So if you see context, it mainly says that Iran began enriching uranium to its highest level ever, that is 60%. Earlier it also said that it is going for enrichment of uranium, that is 20%, and now it tripled this, okay, this uranium enrichment. Okay, so mainly it is ending closer to weapon grade level. So whenever we are going for high level of enrichment of uranium, with that enrichment uranium we can go for development of nuclear weapons. And this step, which is taken by Iran mainly to pressurize talks in Vienna. An important aim of Iran behind this step is to restore its nuclear deal with world powers. So if you are talking about some facts, what is this uranium enrichment? So if you are talking about naturally available uranium, we can get two types of different isotopes, that is uranium-238 and next one is uranium-235. And uranium-238 which mainly obtained in 99%, okay, and only 0.7% of uranium-235 it is available. So if you are talking about this uranium-235, it is a very much fissile material, okay. It can sustain chain reaction in a nuclear reactor. So mainly for production of electricity and for production of nuclear weapons, so we need this enriched uranium, that is uranium-235. And if you are talking about this uranium enrichment, so whenever we are going for this uranium enrichment, we are increasing this proportion of uranium-235 here. And for nuclear weapons, mainly to prepare this nuclear weapons, here enrichment it is very much required, and we can go up to 90% of enrichment or more here. So how much amount here we are going for uranium enrichment? So this process is called as highly enriched uranium that we can produce here. So this is gist of this topic, and now let us see next article. Title says Indonesia, Afghanistan to buy more Indian sugar. So this article mainly focusing on export of sugar. And this topic is important regarding geography, that is GS1, and also economy, that comes under GS3. So I want to give you again one more homework for you people. So you need to refer in which areas sugarcane production is happening in India, and you have to see which is the world's first or world's largest producer of sugar in world. And next one is you need to know differences of tropical sugar cane and as well as temperate sugar cane. Okay, tropical and subtropical sugar cane that is produced in India. So this topic is very important regarding both prelims and as well as mains. So now let us talk about this article in a great detail. So context mainly says that major destinations of sugar exports from India, that is from period that is October 2020 to September 2021, it will be Afghanistan and as well as Indonesia. Okay, so this is the statement which is given by this ISMA. So if you are talking about especially details, so first one is about 29.72 lakh tons of sugar have been exported. Okay, when we are comparing with last year, it is about 30.64 lakh tons, and now we exported 29.72 lakh tons of this sugarcane is exported. So if you see this year, mainly there is currency restriction and as well as exports to Iran. So because of this, now here Iran mainly affected, or how our Indian exports to Iran mainly affected. And next one is there is lower output that is seen in Thailand. So because of lower output in Thailand, now Indian exports to Indonesia, which is picked up in recent times. So if you are talking about some facts regarding this ISMR, that is Indian Sugar Mill Association. So it is one of premier organization in India, and it was established in year 1932. And it mainly acts as interface between government and as well as sugar industry. And what are important objectives? So first one is we need to ensure functioning and as well as interest of both public and as well as private sugar mills in our country. Okay, so this is gist of this topic. And now let us see next article. So before seeing this article, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC in 2022, we came up with one important and highly economical and beneficial course, that is current affairs package along with mains answer writing practice. So I highly recommend for this UPSC aspirants who are especially beginners or freshers to join this course, because we are exclusively focusing on current affairs, right? So why current affairs are important? About 50 to 60% of questions in your prelims or mains or even interview, you can expect questions from this current affairs. So you need to understand issue for better answer writing. Okay, and if you're talking about this mains answer writing practice, especially freshers or beginners, they ignore this mains answer writing practice, and finally they will end up in failing in mains. Even though they clear prelims, without proper answer writing skills, you cannot clear mains for sure. So in this course, we are exactly focusing on how to improve this answer writing skills. And next one is, if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday along with video solutions. So in this way, this course is exactly focusing on demand of UPSC. So I want to say one thing finally. Please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible, because the price of this course, it is going to be doubled in next month. So before that, I am intimating you regularly to join this course, okay, for your benefit. So if you want to talk to me personally regarding this course, you can talk to me on this number, that is 8074765513. And now let us talk about next article. Title says Exciting Afghanistan. So this article mainly talking about Afghanistan peace deal, and we already discussed number of times regarding background of this article. So this topic will be very important regarding GS paper 2 under international relations. So now let us try to understand this article in a great detail. So if you see, this article mainly talking about US pullout in Afghanistan. So if you are talking about context here, so recently USA announced that withdrawal of US troops in Afghanistan by September 11th. Okay. So in this context, President Joe Biden effectively uphold spirit of Trump's Taliban deal. So if you are talking about some background regarding this Taliban deal, in February 2020, Trump administration came up with agreement with the Taliban. Okay. So here USA agreed for removal or pull back its troops by May 1st. And in return, Taliban gave some assurance that they would not let terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda and as well as IS, that is Islamic State, to operate in Afghanistan soil. So in this context, recently our new administration of US, that is Mr. Biden, ordered for a review of US Afghan strategy, and he said that he would delay this pullout at least whenever there is political settlement that happen. Okay, so here Biden mainly chose an orderly pullout. Okay, so in this orderly pullout, here officially about 2,500 troops will start leaving Afghanistan, and full level of withdrawal of this US troop that will be done by September 11th. Okay, and even not only this, even NATO's command, they are also expected to pull out among with Americans. So in this context, US mainly initiated UN-led regional conference, which is mainly scheduled to take place in Ankara, which is located in Turkey, on April 24th. So in this summit here, in this meeting, Taliban said that it made it very clear that it will not participate in this summit, okay, in this event on April 24th. Okay, and even Taliban made it threatening some attacks on US, that if they do not leave in May 1st, by May 1st, then it will lead or it will target US. So if you are talking about Afghanistan government, now it left it with itself, okay, on battleground against Taliban. So against Taliban, only Afghanistan government which left itself on this battleground, and once America which is left this Afghanistan, then the balance of power that will shift mainly towards in favor of Taliban. So why it will move in favor of Taliban? Because there are some reports it mainly saying that a series of targeting killings of journalists and as well as activists, even some other civil society members, who are opposed to this Taliban, they are killed. Okay, but US mainly promised that it would continue to remote assistance to government, that is Afghan government, and in this context the role of regional players are also very important. For example, we can talk about Russia, China and India. Okay, Russia, China and India, which have shared some intelligence in stable Afghanistan, so they have some interest in stable Afghanistan. So because of this regional players like Russia, China and India, they will also play a crucial in deciding the country's future also. So finally, author mainly says that one thing which is very much sure, that US, despite of its military strength, it mainly lost war, and it is finally withdrawing from this Afghanistan by September 11th. Okay, so because of leaving of USA from this Afghanistan, so it makes Taliban more stronger and as well as government very weaker. So this is gist of this topic, and I hope it is clear. And now let us see today's main question. The US pull out without any settlement leaves the Taliban stronger. Discuss, and answer should be written within 150 words. Okay, try to write answer. And if you have any doubt regarding this session, please let me know in comment box. So either in PIB analysis or either in Hindu news analysis, I will be going to cover your doubts. Okay. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package. Thank you so much.